Candace. I wanted to leave you some feedback on your rough draft. Overall, I think things are going pretty well. In your analysis, I see a clear thesis statement. I can see you working on building in historical context, which great work there. Along with doing some analysis in what you see in the image. There's just a few things here and there that I want to talk to you about in terms of revision that I think will make this stronger. So you start off with a little bit of context of there are many different standpoints on the never-ending argument of whether or not making abortion illegal is the right thing to do. So you present that idea, but you immediately walk away from it. So I think a good place to pause and revise would be, well, what are these viewpoints? What are these standpoints? Who specifically have them? And what do you mean by the right thing to do? Meaning, if I am pro-choice, why do I believe that allowing women to choose abortion is the right thing to do? Whereas if I am pro-life, why do I believe that making abortions illegal is also the right thing to do, right? So you need to pause here and bring in the historical context. Also, since I'm talking about that, I think a good way to end in terms of your insights is to perhaps think about the current pressure that Roe v. Wade will likely see with the confirmation of Justice Barrett. So if you haven't been following the new Supreme Court nominee, look into that. Like, I'm not asking you to do a lot of research here, but you might do a Google search if you have not been following this argument, or even if you have been following this, do a quick Google search and get an understanding of what is at stake in terms of Roe v. Wade, and go ahead and I think and incorporate that into for your final insights. Because you start with the never-ending debate. Well, will the debate soon end, right? And how might this cartoon, I don't know, be a thing of the past? How might this cartoon tap into why we need to keep having these conversations about abortion, right? So just think about how you can explain your insights there in terms of the historical context. So there really felt like there was a gap in logic here, but I think if you more clearly present that idea, it would work well. I like your description here. I think you're capturing it pretty well. And when I got to your thesis, I see that you have a pretty good thesis working here. The gap for me was here where you said the cartoon shows. I wanted to know how, right? So remember, when you do visual analysis, one of the things that you're investigating is the visual techniques. So how does the cartoon show that one side has the more reasonable argument over the other, right? That's what you need to identify. This in this thesis statement, I think that will really strengthen it. I think that this is working well. That you're saying that it's aimed towards people who are pro-life, but edit for your wording here. I think you just have an extra word in here. I think that you start off talking about audience, but it feels like it gets a little muddy in here, where you say it's aimed for people who are pro-life, and then you say the man is pro-life and the woman is pro-choice. I think to make this read a little bit better, present the idea of why you think it's aimed for people who are pro-life, and then pivot into talking about how it might also be geared towards people who are pro-choice. So in other words, try to organize this paragraph where you're talking about each group and how each group is represented in the image separately instead of like blending them together. I think that your ideas here will read I can't talk. I'm trying to say the word more coherently, and I can't even say that. So yeah, if you kind of see this paragraph in two chunks, I think that it'll read a little better. I like the fact that you bring in this historical context here. Um, I think that that helps. And then at the end, um, I think here where you say that she's more grounded with a serious expression on her face, I think that this would be a really good place for description. Like, how do you know that she is serious? And what is the intended effect on the audience? Meaning, right? So that you say that I think that you're doing a good job here by explaining why we are supposed to be critical of the man's stance. I think that you're working towards what the what how we're supposed to interpret the woman's stance, but it's a little bit underdeveloped there. So I think dig into that more. And then I was thinking this the whole time, like, oh my God, you got to talk about the fact that there's a man saying this versus a woman, right? So a man is speaking on women's issues, but he's doing it in this like, fairy tale bubble. You need to dig into this. What does mansplaining mean? How has mansplaining been talked about in the public forum? uh it's a pejorative term. Why is it a pejorative term? And how is it being used in this specific cartoon? So you briefly bring it up, but you got to expand on that more because that's part of the analysis, right? So those are the things that I would work on for your final draft. Like I said, I think that you're close to having a pretty good analysis. There's just some things here and there that I would expand on to get there. All right, thanks, Candace.